this is Nicole Marie, your transformation catalyst and coach, and we are on the Know Your Archetype series. So we have gone through a lot of archetypes. If you've been with me from the beginning of Aries, we are almost at the ending. But before great endings, we must experience Scorpio. This is the part of the hero where he must face his fear. When I say he, I mean all of us. That aspect within ourselves that is on this life journey. And I really like to call it the soul's journey. And let me tell you why. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto is, in evolutionary astrology, the soul of who we are. And this is where we need to face the fear of our humanness, to face the dark aspects of our psyche, to face the shadow. And Scorpio very much is ruled by these qualities because it rules the 8th house of our karmic debt, of other people's resources, of our karmic patterns. Now there's karmic debt and karmic patterns. So patterns are in our more committed relationships. So we talked about the lover in the last one in Libra, but now we're looking at that next level of deep commitment. And the soul, you can't get deeper than that when you really make a soul commitment to, so like marriage is a huge commitment, family, and often that's when our shadow comes up, when we are in deep commitment and connection to another, especially if we have not faced our own fears. We see those aspects in the ones that we love. Why? Let me tell you. The archetype that really embodies Scorpio is the wise one. You can also call it the crone or the sorcerer, however magical you want to get, but it is the wisdom keeper within us. And why is it wise? Because it has gone to the depths of soul. It has gone deep down into its own psyche, deep into the earth, deep into the beginning of time, when magic was first born, when this earth was first created. What existed at this time, and it has evolved through all of it. That is why it is wise, because it has life experience. It has karmic debt from all the choices that it's made. It's seen patterns in others, and it's kept silent. For when we discover the self through experience and how we act in that experience is how we learn, how we grow, and how we evolve. So Scorpio really challenges us. For one, it's very stubborn. It's fixed. It's a strong water. But what it also represents is this death, life, rebirth. So it's constantly in a cycle of life where it has to die to the old habits, old relationship, old karmic understandings, and then for it to be rebirthed, and then a new life happens, and then death happens, and then it's just a constant cycle. And that's what makes you wise. And then with each cycle you grow, you respond differently, you make different choices, and maybe you don't, and then you go back to when you were a child, and then you go back to being, someone that you're trying to be. So it's really trying to get out of old habits, old beliefs, old things. And this is about getting down to the deep, to the truth of who you are, back to the soul of the matter. And this is Scorpio. And because it is in this intense 8th house, it's really looking at our intense mirror work. So I already shared mirrors in relationship, but these are like deep mirrors. So when, again, we make deep commitments in our life, even just life partners, they bring up our wounds, they bring up our triggers, they bring up our trauma. And this is where we learn, is this the right partner for us to develop? Do they run away? Do we run away from ourselves when we're way too emotional? Do we look at, wow, why am I in a relationship that doesn't value what I value in self-care? Or am I in a partnership that doesn't like where it lives? There's like all these things that we need to look at, because they really pronounce the gap in our life and the things that we ourselves have to work on. So instead of projecting it onto them, saying you have to change, the only thing that you can ever change in your life is yourself. Just like I said, the only person that will ever truly, truly love you for who you are fully and completely, besides your mother sometimes, is yourself. Because even the mothers have their own needs and their own things. You yourself, your sole responsibility in this life is to love everything that you are. And in order to do that, you have to face your fears, your challenges, your addictions, your habits, all those places within you. Why? So you can become wise. So, what is the opposite of wisdom? What is the Scorpio energy can choose? I can either choose to be wise, I can choose to learn from this experience and to keep growing and evolving, or I can be the destroyer. The destroyer says, you know what? No, I'll never love again. No, I don't want to be committed. I don't want to do this. I want to destroy everything that I love because I'm in so much pain and so much fear and I'm unwilling to change. Scorpio's stubborn and fixed and confused. And when it's out of alignment with its soul and it doesn't want to get out from a really intense habit, specifically addiction, Scorpio definitely rules addicts. So wherever we talked about that addiction that's held in Aries, now Scorpio also has that aspect, but it's kind of beyond addiction. It just chooses to be destructive. And it can be destructive with its emotions, with its habits. And, it's not about going and creating destruction in your life. It's about being in a loving, wonderful relationship and choosing drugs over a loving relationship, saying that love is not enough. And that is the words of an addict, the words of someone that is wanting to destroy a part of themselves that they should be loving. Now, this is maybe be harsh, maybe be a bit too intense. That's what Scorpio is. It's really intense. It feels things because it holds the energy of the entire cosmos inside of it. It is so connected to sexual, creative life force energy that sometimes it cannot contain itself, so it must reach for something outside for it to sustain itself. So, some people can have that silent storm inside them. And if that is unexpressed, it will be destructive. And what it can become, and when you're noticing patterns of destruction, or if you just recently destroyed a relationship, maybe it was for the better. Only your soul will tell you that, but you have to activate your wisdom keeper, your wise one, the crone within. Is this what I really want for my life? Do I really want to live a life that's, so involved by a substance or a type of relationship that, abuses, or however you want to see what is destructing your life. Is that ruling your life? Or can you learn from it? So this is a really intense archetype. And we all have a bit of destroyer in us when we are out of alignment with our wisdom. When we want to blame others or say, have that chip on our shoulder. Or we're in so much pain, or we think that everyone else is wrong. Is that true? And why? Always ask why. And what if? What if this is my lesson to learn? Scorpio is a very powerful energy, and so is the wise one. Are you willing to learn from your mistakes? Are you willing to say sorry? Are you willing to open yourself back up to love, no matter what the consequence? Are you willing to remarry? Are you willing to recommit to love? Because I'll tell you this, the only fact in life is that death will come to us. Death comes to all things. It doesn't mean it's the end. Again, based off of your belief systems or understandings of what lies next, death is the fact of life. And living, knowing that death can be at any corner, allows you to live life fully, to live it wise, to live it as if love is the most important potion, elixir, treasure to live for. The one within yourself and in the world. The more people that you have loved in this life, that is the greatest quest you will ever go on. Or the love that you have committed for your entire life. That is the quest that we are ultimately learning to become wise. So choosing your quest, choosing the kind of love that will strengthen you, that will love you in all your ugliness, no matter what. Hey, we all need space, we all need our own boundaries and all these things. And there's, if you're in an abusive relationship, they really need to take care of themselves. Don't try and do that for them. Because that's where self-love comes in. You know your own boundaries. This is important. And that's also loving others. When you have an addict in your life or someone that's abusive, the only thing that you can do is love yourself and take yourself out of that situation until they finally feel capable of loving that for themselves. So Scorpio's an intense, powerful energy in our life, and we all have it. We all have these archetypes, and we all have the power of choice. We either get to choose to be wise, to learn, to develop, or we get to choose to continue down that path. That is a choice, and no archetype can choose that for you. That is where the self comes in and activates the choice. That is up to you, dear friends. And this is what this whole program and natal chart and all these things are really allowing you to access. What is your choice? And how will you activate it? Who will you call in? And sometimes we need the destroyer to destroy old habits, to destroy old relationships that no longer serve us. This is the Kali energy. This is the Pele energy that puts her lava into the things that no longer serve us. They are beautiful destroyers. But when is it when the destroyer takes over all aspects of our life? This is what we're learning. And this is what you get to learn when you do your natal chart reading. Or how, so Pluto just went out of retrograde, and we're kind of feeling more connected to our soul and to what really matters. And this is really a time to look at what is your soul really needing on this next journey. So if you want to know about your transit charts and what's coming and how to move forward after the retrograde, contact me at hello@NicoleMarie.eu or check out my website, NicoleMarie.eu. Until then, see you for the Sagittarius archetype.